Astro Smash was one of the killer apps for the Intellivision back in 1981, and if there's one thing I know, it's that the great, wise, and powerful Robert DeCrescenzo loves porting Pac-Man games and killer apps to the Atari 7800. And I'm sure there were Atari fans back in the 80s that wished they had access to stuff like Astro Smash. So if you're one of those people, then your dreams have come true. Meteor Shower is a reimagining of Astro Smash that was released on the Atari 7800 back in 2011, and can currently be purchased from Atari Age for as low as $35. And when it comes to cartridge games, that's a pretty good price. It also comes in either a red box or a blue box, and you know what that means. Gotta catch 'em all. Actually, both versions are exactly the same, but you can grab whichever color you like best. But the question we need to answer is, should you grab either color of Meteor Shower, or let this port of Astro Smash stay on the Intellivision where it belongs? Let's find out. Meteor Shower is about as simple as these old games can come, as you move your ship along the ground left and right as you shoot at and avoid several falling obstacles. The majority are meteors, or as the manual calls them, rocks. But eventually you'll come up against spinners, dive bombers, and eventually saucers. You want to shoot down as many of these enemies as possible for points, but should any get past your defenses, then your score actually goes down. So you can play slow and take your time to aim your shots perfectly, but your score is going to plummet if you do so. So for this reason, Meteor Shower promotes fast, hectic gameplay, and will cause you to get into situations where you're not making wise decisions. You can push down on the joystick to do a teleport, but it's impossible to tell where you're going to end up, and I find it does more damage than good. Still, if you're smart about when and where you use this maneuver, it could save your skin. Graphically, everything is bright and vivid on the 7800, and even more so on the 2600 Plus. Well, usually, but the background changes color at different intervals, and some of the color choices really wash everything out. This was by design, but I can't help but to feel that some of the colors look better than others, and wiser choices could have been made. The color changing backgrounds also doesn't happen nearly enough to help with a sense of progression. I usually found myself wondering when the heck the color was going to change, as usually that's also when more obstacles are added and the game speeds up a bit. I do like the craters on the ground, as it looks like you're traveling the surface of the moon, but ultimately this game doesn't leave you with much to look at. Audio-wise, there really isn't much going on either. Most of the sounds consist of your shots coming from your ship, and the sounds of rocks blowing up to pieces. You get the sounds of the dive bombers and spinners coming onto the screen, and that's really it most of the time. Oh, and the saucers make sound effects too. With everything being so sparse, you would think I'd hate the sound, but outside of the annoying effects for the dive bombers, I don't find it all that bad. Now don't get me wrong, you can mute the television and crank up some good music, and you really won't miss a thing. But I didn't feel irritated by any of the audio either. Well, except for the dive bombers. So even though the audio is wholly unexceptional, I think it deserves a bit of a pass for using the TIA in a manner that didn't make my ears bleed. But after playing for a while, gathering footage for the review, I couldn't help but to think that I just wasn't having that much fun. Like I said, there really wasn't a feeling of progression, and the difficulty just increased a bit too slowly for my taste. Now, there is a 2-player simultaneous mode that I did not get to try, so that might be the savior for this game. But in single-player mode, it's just really too dull. Especially now that we have so many incredible homebrew for the Atari 7800. Robert DeCrescenzo himself did the excellent Pac-Man collections, Super Circus Atari Age, Crazy Bricks, Baby Pac-Man, and Bentley Bear's Crystal Quest. And any of those I'd play over this one in a heartbeat. But we still need to break it all down in the trademarked Atari Network pros and cons section. For pros, I do like some of the graphics, and they look incredible when the background is a solid color. The game has a unique scoring system where you can lose points just as fast as you gain them, and I haven't seen too many other games do that before. I do have to point out that Bob did a fair job with the audio, especially considering how much worse it could have been. The difficulty and speed also increases, and the game is quite a bit funner when things get hectic. But for the cons, I have to mention that sometimes the backgrounds wash out the colors, and the dive bombers can be annoying when it starts dropping repeatedly. But most of all, the game is pretty boring to play, especially when compared to what has released on 7800 since this one. The progression and difficulty is slow, and that takes the fun out of this one for me. Also, keep in mind that I did not try the 2-player mode, and that could be a savior for this game if you have a friend to play with. So with all that said, I'm going to give Meteor Shower for the Atari 7800 2 Pro-Line controllers out of 5. It's not an awful game, but in my opinion, it's a boring one. Things just progress too slowly, and that's in part because of the fact that you lose score just as fast as you gain it, and the score dictates when things ramp up within the game. But now I want to hear from you guys. Do you think I was too harsh on Meteor Shower? Have you played this one before, and if so, do you like it? And what about Astro Smash, the game that this is based on? Is that one any different? Sound off in the comments down below. And don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed this review. It helps the channel out a ton. And why not subscribe? We put out 2 videos a week, one review like this one, and one featured video every Thursday. We also do the Atari Network podcast with myself and co-host Funkmaster V from the Big and Funky Productions YouTube channel. You can catch the podcast every other Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4:30 Pacific. Next one will be on February 23rd, and we hope to see you there. Alright guys, I'm the 7800 Pro System Gamer, a nerd in desperate need of a Meteor Shower here at the Atari Network, and I'd like to thank you all for watching my review of Meteor Shower. And remember, stay classy, Atarians.